don't need to be taxing business and losing money. So yes, that will be one of the first things.
Tell our listeners and the readers here what is wrong with that tax.
Well, alternative minimum tax is truly a minimum tax. So if you don't make a profit, then you pay a tax based on your volume. And so if you're a startup company, if you're a company have a bad year for whatever reason, then you may not have any income, but you still have a tax bill to pay as a business. And that's just not fair. It should be those companies who are making money.
Is Kentucky unique in that?
There are very few states that have that tax. I can't tell you how many, but it is very rare. Of course, we have not had that before a couple of years ago. So it's, like I say, much more fair to sales tax or income tax is the appropriate thing, because then it's based on your income or your profitability.
What do you think about Ann Northam getting into the race? Does that help you, or is that?
Well, you'll have to ask all the experts on that. We're going to run our same race regardless. Instead of running against one politician, now we're running against two politicians. So the numbers will change some, but the message is the same, and the competition is the same.
You've been out several weeks. I've run statewide ads. The Northam poll showed you about 10% of the vote. Is that encouraging, discouraging, or do you agree with that figure?
Well, I haven't seen the poll, don't know the questions they asked to get those numbers. I've learned enough about polling already. It's like anything else, you can do anything you want to with numbers. I do know that we had low recognition coming in, and we've got a huge job. We're building that. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, I don't expect to be up to the governor at this point, but we know it's rising and will continue to rise. So you can debate where it is, but that's not important.
Could you foresee any circumstances that would lead to you dropping out of this primary race?
None whatsoever.
You're in it.
We're in it for the long haul. I've been saying that since we announced that we're coming to run. It's just like our drag race. We've left the starting line. We're wide open throttle. There'll be no changes in that whatsoever.
Well, in a drag race, you need a lot of traction. Have you come up with something that you think can give you traction in this?
Well, I think the fact that we're gaining in the polls and we're moving forward with the numbers, the fact that we're getting positive response as we talk with people face to face about our message and also about our ads, keeping it positive and the education message.
But is that catching on? Are people responding to that?
Well, it appears to be, and I think the ultimate test will be at the voting booth when it all comes. And everybody talks education, but it's one thing to talk about it, it's another to do the structural changes and all the things we need to do to really move forward. We're doing the baby steps, but so are all the other states. So we're dramatically going to do something different. And this is not a single item. This is a lot of things that we're going to have to do. And it requires business stepping into schools and getting involved. It requires teachers working harder on being better prepared, doing things maybe different for different learning styles. There's thousands of things we need to do, and I certainly don't have all the answers, but it can't be just business as usual.
Do you think you have an advantage in the primary, given that you have to raise a lot of money compared to what Ann Northam and Ernie Fletcher need to raise?
Well, I think we'll all be raising money. I don't want it to come across that we're not raising money, because we put the seed money in starting a business, but we want the citizens across the state to buy into the race, not only with saying you've got the right message, but with financial too. So we'll be right there with them raising money. I'm never intended to literally finance this race, and don't intend to.
But I mean, you had a head start on them, obviously, with the seed money that you
Sure.
How does that help you?
Well, it's, again, no different than starting a business. If you've got three competitors on the street, if one puts the seed money into it, gets up and running, gets the ads out, they're going to be in a better position for customers than somebody who comes on very slowly and methodically. So we think getting the jump start is very critical. And again, they're politicians. They have more name recognition. We know that.
How much of your own money are you willing to commit to this?
We have not put a cap on it, because we didn't know who was going to get it in the race. We don't know how twists and turns it's going to be. So that's just the decision we'll make as we proceed down the road.
Have you had other fundraisers? I know you had the one in Paducah, but you had others.
We have not had any more yet. We're now starting to develop the